welcome to another episode of Kenny's Kantina, Eating in Style on the Road. Today I'm sitting in Devil's Tower National Monument, actually at a campground at the base of it. I'm looking at the tower outside my dining room window. It doesn't get much better than this. And so today I'm going to be doing a day of hiking up around the tower, and so I want to eat a good breakfast. So today's show is going to be about breakfast tacos. So the recipe that I'm going to be describing is for one person, but it's real easy. You just double it if it's two, triple it if it's three as we go through. So the great thing about breakfast tacos is it's a very versatile breakfast, and you can have unlimited multiple variations depending on what you have on hand. Starting off, basic ingredients, you're going to need eggs. I'm going to be using bacon today, sweet onion, a little bit of butter, some flour tortillas, grated cheese, salt and pepper to taste, and then we'll talk about in a minute some of the variations that you can do as we're working through this. So on the bacon, I'm going to slice the bacon into about half-inch chunks. If you don't have bacon, you can use sausage. I've used brisket, smoked sausage. Basically, any kind of meat that you have around, you can make adjustments to this. Okay, so my bacon is chopped. Let me go ahead and start preheating my skillet. I'm going to be cooking all this in one skillet, which makes it handy, so there's only one dish to clean up. The next thing is I'm going to slice a sweet onion about a 1/4 inch thick, and then I'm going to chop that up into about 1/4 inch dices. All right, so that's done. The next thing I'm going to throw in migas, which is basically the crumbs of a corn tortilla. I had one in my pantry, so I'm going to chop that up and add that into it. Shredded hash brown potatoes, you can dice potatoes. One note though, if you are using diced potatoes, cook those before you start the bacon because they take a little bit longer. Okay, I am throwing the bacon into the pan, and I'm doing this on high heat. So I'm going to cook this till it just starts browning. I'm going to add a little butter and throw the onions in and throw the migas in. So other variations on this, you can chop up diced bell peppers, poblano peppers. You can dice in some tomatoes if you want. You can dice in jalapenos. It's really a very versatile dish. So you can hear that sizzling now. It's starting to brown. So I'm going to add, there's not a lot of the bacon fat yet in the pan. So that's why I'm going to add about a half tablespoon of butter and get things ready. The butter's starting to melt and sizzling in there. This will actually help cook the bacon faster as well. Now I'm going to bring my cutting board over, and I'm going to put in the onions and then slide in the migas into that and continue to cook that on high heat till everything starts to brown. Now here's another variation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a dash of comino or cumin into it. This is just going to add just a little flavoring to it. So I'm just going to do a couple shakes into that. And then I'm also going to do the same with some paprika. So a couple little shakes to that. Now what happens when you put those in and those spices start heating up and cooking, you get this great aroma that starts coming along. This is working good. I still have it on just under high on heat, and it's starting to brown some. And then I'm going to give this a minute. In the meantime, I also have some leftover cilantro from the other day, and I'm going to chop up just a little bit of that, and I'm going to use that as a kind of a garnish on top of the breakfast tacos. So it'll just give it a little bit of that cilantro flavor. Let me keep that going. And then I'm going to be serving this on flour tortillas. So I'm going to start heating up griddle pan. to heat the tortillas up. You can use another skillet. I'm using flour tortillas, and when I can find them in the grocery store, I like to get uncooked flour tortillas. They tend to be a little thinner, and when you cook them, they're fresher. So the process that I'm going to go through and start warming up the tortillas here when that pan gets hot is the same that you would use for uncooked or cooked. Okay, boy, that bacon is smelling good, and those onions. All right. So the griddle pan on the side here is getting warm. I still have a little while till the eggs are going to be in there. So I want to keep my tortillas warm as they come off the griddle. And the easiest way to do that is lay out a clean dishcloth and then just close it over, and that'll help keep the heat in there. I'm dropping tortilla onto the griddle. I'm just kind of spinning it around a little bit. It's starting to heat up. Approximately a minute on a side, especially when you first put it down. If it's a good tortilla, it'll start bubbling up. Okay, my bacon is getting close to being done. I'm going to start turning that down to a medium to low heat for it to finish up. I don't want to burn the onions and the corn tortilla crumbs. Now I'm going to take the tortilla and just flip it over, and it's not totally cooked yet on that side, but it's turned kind of a white color. It was kind of from an off-white to a bright white. And as it continues to heat up, it'll start getting some brownness in it. And I can see the tortilla is starting to puff up. You get these air pockets in the tortillas that start coming up. And that's when you want to kind of watch it. And I go back and forth a few times as it bubbles up. All right, so I've got some bubbles. I'm going to flip that over. Now where the bubbles were, there's some browning on that, and the rest is white. Going back to the bacon, I'm watching the tortilla. I turn down to low heat to get ready to put the eggs in. I'll let that cool down a little bit. And the tortilla, I just flipped it up one more time, and it had a nice billow to it. And I'm going to pull that off, throw it onto the clean dishcloth and cover it, and then take my other tortilla and throw that on. So it doesn't take too long to do. For my portions, one piece of bacon to one egg. So I'm cooking 3 eggs. I'm going to be a busy guy hiking. I need my energy. So I'm going to put 3 eggs into this. Optionally, I like to put it just in the pan, crack them in the pan and scramble them in the pan. You can do it in a mixing bowl and add some milk to it and whip it in there. It makes it come out a little bit fluffier. But I kind of like the eggs straight into the pan. But before I do that, let me flip this other tortilla one more time. It's almost done. Let me let it finish, and I'll pop back on the eggs. That is done. Let me put that into the warmer, turn off the heat on that, and let's crack some eggs. Okay, so I'm going to crack an egg and just dump that into the pan. You can hear it sizzle a little bit. It's 1 egg, 2 eggs, 3 eggs. Now I'm going to take my spatula and just kind of mix that all together. Once you have a good mix, I'll let that set for just a minute, and then I'll flip it. It's smelling good. This is going to be good. All right, so I'm scrambling it a little more and flipping it over. And so you've got a little bit of butter in there. You've got the bacon grease, which makes it a really rich egg dish. And that is done. Let me turn off the heat to that. I like my eggs kind of a little soft scrambled. I don't like them dried out. So now what I'm going to do is split the pan. I've got 2 good-sized tortillas, 8 inches across. I've kind of split up the eggs in the pan. I'm going to get a plate and put 1 tortilla down out of my warmer and spoon on half of my concoction here. Get that spooned on. Now the salt and pepper to taste that's in the recipe, I've got grinders, and I'll just give a couple grinds of salt, a couple grinds of pepper, put on the shredded cheese onto it. And then from episode 1, I made 2 Minute Salsa. You can check back on that. And I'm going to put a couple spoonfuls of that 2 Minute Salsa that I made in the last episode on top of that. Top it off with the cilantro. Kind of fold that over so I can do my other one on the plate beside it. There we go. We got it. and putting the rest of my eggs and bacon onto that tortilla. And here again, a couple little twists of salt and pepper. Throw the cheese on, spoon on a couple spoons of the 2 Minute Salsa, which the 2 Minute Salsa really gives it a great flavor that pops. Fold over and voila, breakfast is ready. This is still really hot, but here, I'm going to take a bite of this now. Oh, man. Okay, so you get that bacon flavor all mixed in, the onion, that little hint of comino or cumin, and the paprika, and then the cheese, and then that salsa just really tops it off. So before I dig in on this, let me just say, go to the website and you'll find the recipe here, and I've listed out several different variations. And like I said, this is a versatile dish. It doesn't take long to make, and anyone that you have over for breakfast is going to love it as well. Let me go ahead and sign off here from Devil's Tower, Wyoming. Thank you for listening to our show. Enjoy your breakfast tacos. And I want to thank my sponsors, IBC Productions and Rogue Hog Media Network. Thank you very much. Have a good day.